So we have a project just starting out on Lost Arts Radio that I want you to know about. And what's happening here is that we're looking for individuals, certain people, especially people in positions of power in government or high up in industry. Within government, it's Congress people, Republicans, Democrats, Independents, Green Party, whatever you are. I mean, whatever your affiliation is, doesn't matter. Or in state legislatures. We've already found some good ones in the states. I haven't found anybody open to this yet on the congressional level, and we need you if you're brave enough. And what it is, I was talking in the last video about a wider perspective on Agenda 21, environmental crises, all these organic farming, all these things brought into the same picture and understood how they fit together. Compartmentalization is a big distraction that weakens us and really decreases our ability to get things turned around on this planet. So I'm looking for representatives in the Senate or the House or state legislators that can think beyond party lines and realize that all the real issues, out of all the real issues, none of them are partisan. There's no reason in the world, that a good reason anyway, there is a reason, but no good reason that all the Democrats have to have the same opinion about every major issue, or that every Republican has to think the same thing about every major issue. That just shows that they're being lazy or scared to think for themselves and to say, look, how about this? What about just trying to find out what's true? Not what comes down as my orders to think as a Republican or a Democrat. So for example, if all the Republicans are supposed to think that there's no environmental emergency, okay, so all they have to do is say there's no environmental emergency, it's been well proven, and then some stuff that they memorized, and they have to say that. If they're a Democrat, they have to say there's no emergency at the southern border of the U.S. That's been well proven. Then they show a place inside a wall where the wall is blocking all the illegal immigration, and they say, see, there's nobody here. There's no emergency. Just go away, go back to TV and watching sports and everything, and we'll let you know if there's ever a problem. Or you know, any issues like that with abortion. All the Democrats are supposed to say, it's woman's rights. That's not a baby over there. That just because it looks like a baby, that's just part of the mother's body, right? And if anybody tries to say what you can do to that baby, I mean that part of the mother's body, then you hate women, you know, or you're against women's rights. Really, really stupid stuff, but they say it with such sureness that you're supposed to just go along with it and say, oh yeah, that's women's rights. And you know, both parties, Democrats and Republicans, the majority of them want war, as many people know. And they say, yes, for national security interests, we have to bomb Syria, even though that's a criminal act and a declaration of war in itself, undeclared war. We have to do it for our national security and your safety. What? You know, so I guess what I'm saying here, this is supposed to be really short, is that if you know anybody who's in Congress, the Senator, the House in the U.S., or any country, we've been interviewing some people from other countries too, with these same qualities, and we're looking for people in government or high positions in industry, corporations, that are kind of willing to have an awake, inclusive point of view here that's not just, here's our policies. Like, you know, I've recently talked to the offices of various representatives in the U.S., and I said, would you be willing to talk about, you know, thinking outside the box a little bit, and for example, the border emergency in the U.S., which is very real, and there's so many criminals and others pouring across that border, and it's all being engineered and run by the UN through various NGOs. It's totally criminal. And all the Democrats say, there's no problem at the border. And now what they also say is, we believe in border security, because they think that sounds really good. But we don't want a barrier because scientific studies show that walls don't work, which is so stupid that, you know, you're not supposed to notice anything wrong with that. Like, if you have a backyard and you live in a neighborhood where there's some difficult neighbors, and you say, well, the best thing to do is not have a fence, and just watch the property line, but don't have a fence. That's not brilliant, okay? And yet they're saying it, and these representatives are, especially Democrats for some reason, are training their staffs to say, yes, the representative believes in border security. Okay, they figure they get points for that because it sounds really wise. But we don't want a wall. That looks bad. It's the wrong optics. It sends the wrong message because everybody's human. And that's like standing in your backyard, taking your fence down in a neighborhood with some dangerous neighbors and saying, you're all human. Now I'm just going to watch this property line really careful. And when I have to go to sleep, please don't come in and rob the house. It's not brilliant, okay? So I'm looking at how close global disaster is in so many ways in the world right now, and say, look, the people, at least in government, there's got to be somebody in there who's not totally under the hypnotic program. This may be silly on my part. Maybe there isn't anybody. But if there is, we want to start a project where we show people in government from all sides of the spectrum who are saying, all right, I understand my party affiliation is not nearly as important as what's true. Yes, it's true. Your party policy may not be in line with what's true all the time. I know that's shocking, but there could be some people brave enough to see that. And if you are willing to get together and start demonstrating that we can cooperate instead of attacking each other, and just share the motivation that we want to help humanity, and especially the people of whatever country you're in, as an example to everybody else in the world. Not losing your sovereignty, that's really a bad idea, but keeping it and then cooperating and showing a new model that's not tearing each other down when we don't have to. We're allies, and if you don't have the malice to hurt other people and you really want to do something good, let us know, because I want to know that there are still people in government and industry, in any country, in any party, wherever you might be. We'll give you a platform to show what you're doing on Lost Arts Radio and maybe do a show with you. Get in touch with us, richard@lostartsradio.com, or if you know of a government person who's actually good and not following the insanity of just their party line, please let me know who they are and we'll try to contact them. richard@lostartsradio.com. Deeper levels, of course, will be dealt with at planetaryhealingclub.com. If you're up to that, take a look at it. And otherwise, I'll see you in the next video.